Hello and welcome to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host Gaz, and joining me in the studio, he's harder than the hardest hard light hologram. You know it, he's Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, good evening everybody.
Wow, that sounds weird in my ears, them headphones. Well, welcome back new listeners and repeat offenders. Thank you for joining us for another episode.
Yeah.
It's a good one. This week we're going to be talking. It's a topic that we were planning on doing for ages and we never got around to it. This week we're going to be talking Project Bluebeam.
Yes.
Well, according to some, it's a 4-step project designed by NASA and the United Nations to accomplish the goal of creating a new age religion.
Yes.
Led by the Antichrist.
Yeah.
None other than himself. In order to start a new world order.
Yeah, get everyone in line.
Apparently, NASA are going to use some sort of mind control as well as other top secret technology to trick everybody into believing, well, we're not sure. We'll find out.
We will.
And that's coming up a bit shortly. Coming up in the show, as well as what's fucked up where you're from. You know, obviously, the NASA news.
Oh, yeah, indeed.
So, well worth sticking around for.
Definitely.
We're talking a bit of that, but we're going to be talking about all that a little bit later on.
Yeah.
But before we get into all that, what have you been getting up to this week, Mr. Taylor?
Me, not a lot. Maybe a little moonlighting, but yeah.
I was going to say, actually, you've been busy, haven't you?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Professor Taylor,
yeah,
as I should say. You've been on, what is it? I keep forgetting what they're called now. You went on them. What are they called?
Yeah, I couldn't remember the name, to be honest.
They're called the Self-Improvement Podcast.
That's right.
See, I wasn't even invited. But, so you were talking about AI, weren't you?
Yes, we were.
That sounds pretty interesting.
Real good conversation, actually. Mainly, I think, on my side, and I think I was mainly...
Did you mind blow him? Did you mind freak him?
I think a little bit, yeah. But I think we were on the same level.
To be honest. So,
but it was a real good interview.
Well, if you're interested in finding out what Mr. Taylor had to say, you can get over. I'm pretty sure. I think I've left the link on Twitter.
Oh right,
so
sweet,
you can go and check that out.
Yeah.
Other than that, have you had a good week?
I think a quiet week. Apart from that,
it's been quite a quiet week, hasn't it? It's like I've had a busy week, but quite
the sun's been out a little bit, and then it had a little bit of a rain.
It's been chucking it down most of the time. So, I think, to be honest, it was nice for a good spell, and then all of a sudden just went poo.
Yeah.
But, it meant that I had to do a lot of stuff indoor. And then, so like I say, a bit of a quiet but busy week.
Yeah.
I did actually manage to catch up on some telly, so I saw... finally, Cobra Kai Season 3, which just went from being on YouTube originally, and then all of a sudden it's like nothing was said about it, and then all of a sudden sprung up on Netflix with a new season, and so check that out if you've not checked it out. If you've not checked Cobra Kai out at all, if you like 80s movies and you like The Karate Kid,
I'll find a good movie.
What are you doing to my bike? Yeah, so
what is it? Wipe it on, wipe it off.
Wax on, wax off.
That's the one.
Yeah, it's got all that.
Yeah.
Right. If you like that, then you'll love this.
Yeah.
So go and check that out.
Yeah.
Loki is just good episode.
Yeah.
Again.
So another good
I'm
good
thinking
one,
there's some stuff Loki's doing that I didn't know he could do. Like reverse time.
Yeah, that's true.
Couple
but
of
then I reckon some things are going to get revealed.
Potentially. You see, I was saying that every time he's been in contact with an Infinity Stone, he's pocketed one.
Yeah,
right. He's known for it. Wouldn't you? Yeah. So potentially, when he's got a drawer full in front of him, even though he knows they're not working there.
Yeah, and they don't care what happens.
He's not planning on staying there, is he? He wants to get out of that place. So, potentially.
Yeah, that's gonna. I tell you
there's
what.
There's a packet of wine gums in front of me, and I just can see the Infinity Stones there.
That's the thing, though. Like, if he's not supposed to, he's supposed to be on a different path now. How's he going to get back? I don't think he's going to end up getting back, to be honest.
There's no getting back. There's only going
That's
forward.
That's what they say, but then there's probably revelations that come along and actually go, oh, actually, what about this then? know what I mean?
Who knows?
Multiverses and stuff like that
course,
could be.
Yeah, well, that's what. Oh, it's
introduced.
definitely. It already has potentially, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're already seeing variants of a
Yeah,
character.
yeah,
so
yeah. Very true.
That
very
suggests that it is already upon us with the multiverse
That's true.
stuff. It's going to be kind of, but it kind of plays into what we're talking about tonight, actually, because this whole kind of idea that maybe the media tells us stuff which is in truth, but in a way that kind of, puts it into popular media that makes you kind of like, understand it a bit better. So when the thing happens, you're not going to be so kind of, freaked out by it.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're saying about kind of like the popularization of how an alien grey is represented as a species. We've seen the film Paul and E.T. and they all seem to be this kind of like, alien greys especially, or the big eyes and a big head, grey,
different
short,
sizes though.
But they're always similar looking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me that was something like an image that was put out, to make people be a bit less shocked if they did ever come across one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like in what's it called?
Like the Mirror
it's
Men.
like predictive programming.
Yeah.
By dropping this stuff into popular culture, then it softens a blow when it does happen. So I've got an example actually going into this later on, and it involves Spider-Man. Yeah.
Right, okay.
And as I said, we're talking about Project Bluebeam, so you might already have an idea what I'm going to be going into. But before we get into all that, we do have What's Fucked Up Where You're From this week. And this week comes from Brandy, Alor and Lily from the Round Here podcast, and they could live in Brazoria County in Texas.
Hey, nice one.
And they have a podcast which kind of is very similar to What's Fucked Up Where You're From. They look at random places and look at the
history around it and
law and what's going on around them areas.
Good,
and we've got a couple of like stories from their county.
Oh man.
So if you've never heard of this place or been there, it's probably a good thing. It's an old cemetery.
Oh, spooky.
It sits right beside the creek bank, and fog blankets it at night. It's pretty eerie, and not many people like going in there.
Yeah.
Because apparently the old cemetery site is basically near a satanic church.
Oh, weird.
Right? Man. And the rumours are that there's been many spells and satanic rituals set in the area, and especially in the cemetery. And in early morning, it's been told that you can hear the souls of children that were sacrificed in satanic rituals.
Oh, that's a bit sick.
And apparently you can hear them singing and dancing, at times even crying.
Whoa.
So it's a bit of a spooky cemetery. You wouldn't want to go there. And that's, what's it called? Stratton Ridge Road Cemetery.
Yeah, just don't go in there in the morning.
Another legend of the area is to watch out for the drenched hitchhiker.
All right,
of White Rock Lake.
Right.
So this is a story about a hitchhiker apparently in the northeast, and I think this is Dallas way.
Yeah.
It's still Texas.
Yeah, it certainly is.
So, this is a lot of vehicles say that they seen like this 20-year-old girl who committed suicide back in the 1930s.
Okay.
And basically she drowned herself in the lake.
Right.
But people say today that there's loads of reports that say that they've seen a young woman wearing like a wet white dress walking down the highway.
Whoa.
And obviously she's got the reputation of being the drenched hitchhiker.
Yeah, well, if she keeps getting spotted in that area, and there's no other explanation.
But apparently there's been... you see, this is another thing, because like I've heard this before about kind of hitchhiking stories where they've gone...
there's quite a lot of them around.
They've picked them up.
Yeah,
They've fitted the description of like the ghost, but, when they've pulled over and offered them a lift, they've got in the car... and then all of a sudden vanished.
Yeah.
And apparently that's a part of this legend.
Right,
but in this one, it leaves the spirit leaves a wet puddle on the back seat.
Right, it's kind of weird how in different countries and in different areas, mainly like a country lane, that you get that kind of
It's because
same kind of.
it's because it's quite dark and spooky. It's not very well lit, and it's like these twisty, windy country lanes. They are a bit kind of like spooky because there's no.
Yeah, that's true.
It's rural.
Yeah,
anything could be in the fields beside you. Wildlife as well as kind of like a person.
But you don't go downtown and like, oh, there's an hitchhiker down there, and you decide to pull over and pick him up.
No, but at the end of the day, if you did that in town, you've got like the chances are that if something happened, then you go, well, where did you pick him up from? And there'd be witnesses.
There, yeah.
There'd be somebody who was able to go, yeah, I saw that guy getting in that car.
Yeah.
Or cameras or something. In today's day and age, I mean, hitchhiking's not as big as it used to be.
No.
By any stretch of the imagination. I mean, hitchhiking was like a common thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, until people started getting abused and murdered and stuff, and it was like, whoa, right, we've got to stop that.
It's like, get in my car.
Yeah. I mean, it was a nice thing to do back in the day, but now
offering a lift,
you can't risk it these days because you don't know who you're getting in with.
Well, yeah, exactly. I wouldn't recommend it.
No, not now.
Well, thank you for getting involved.
Yeah,
like
that's
I say, that was
good
Brandy, Alor, and Lila from the Round Here podcast. You can go and check them out.
Thanks, girls.
And top podcast.
Yeah. Sounds cool, man.
Exactly. If you want to get involved with What's Fucked Up Where You're From, you've got a crazy story from out of your town.
Of course you have.
Have you got urban legends, haunted
places? Yeah. Even your place might be a haunted one.
Yeah, let us know. We'll do a bit of extra research and tell you what we found.
Oh, yeah.
So, get involved. You can email us or DM us or whatever you like.
Yeah.
So, this week's episode is in conjunction and brought to you in part by our Patreons.
Yeah.
Hey, we can't do it without you. If you want
can't.
help us out and get involved, you can go over to Patreon and join up as an agent, a special agent, or beyond top secret.
Oh, yeah.
And get loads of extra perks.
Oh, yeah.
All helps us out.
It certainly
and helps
does.
us to continue making top quality programming.
As you want it.
Da-da. There you go. Also, you can buy merch if you go over to the website.
Oh, yeah,
top quality. We've got a nice t-shirt design there that's pretty new. So get it on.
And it's limited.
I want to see photos of you guys wearing our merch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Stick it up on Instagram.
Yeah, defo.
Well,
defo.
There you go. Well, that's it for no, I'm joking. We've got, so like I say, we're talking this week about Project Bluebeam.
Oh, yeah.
So, like I say, according to some, it's this 4-step program.
Yeah.
And it's designed to bring in a new age religion. And like I said earlier, it's supposed to be led by the Antichrist in order to start a new world order.
It's a bit of a devil.
Do you know what? With the way things are going.
You look out the window, you'd be like, you know what? I think the devil's on his way.
So, the theory itself, I mean, what do you know about it?
I know that it was back in the day, it was put as a crazy theory that.
Do you not think it was still?
But then some of it
as a bit of a crazy theory.
If you look at it today, it's some aspects of it. I mean, when I first heard about it years ago, it was a case of like, it's plausible.
Well,
very
it's the
plausible.
Technology that you'd need to kind of pull it off.
Yeah.
I mean, there's two, so we'll go into the stages of it.
Yeah.
I mean, the theory, as I understand it, is the purpose of Project Bluebeam is to bring about this new age religion, which is kind of like the start of this new world order, isn't it? Getting everyone on the same hymn sheet, on the same page. Do you know what I mean?
Basically.
Try and abolish all these other religions to try and make it out as if, like, stuff we already knew, or history, or archaeological evidence, or
break it down,
religious sort of divides. We're all kind of brought to kind of evidence was brought forward to suggest that they weren't real. And we've been wasting our time. We've been wasting all our time. They were going to provide. Now we'll get into that because that's one of the stages. Is kind of like disprove. Archaeological evidence by creating, like you say, earthquakes to discover new planted artifacts and evidence. But like there was a guy, what was he called? Serge Monasset. Is it Monats?
Monats.
He had a theory. He basically
Monats.
popularized it. He suggested, like, basically, this significantly advanced technology was going to be used to trick the people into believing whatever they wanted them to believe, I suppose. How would they go about that?
Well, the first stage is it would have to be to show a god or something. A god in everyone's religion, you will see your god. I don't know how they're going to do that in the first stage. Well, it's the second stage.
Well, this is the thing. It's already starting to fall apart because, I mean, like, at the end of the day, right? So what do you want to do? He's this Serge guy. He's saying that, you know, they're gonna use advanced technology to trick us all into believing stuff. Now, I have to always say, like, even if you present people with the truth, there's always going to be a percentage of people who don't buy it. Yeah, right.
Yeah, of course.
Or, you know, look and go fake. Yeah, it's not real. Yeah, like now. There was a whole kind of thing about chemtrails I saw, about how they were introducing these chemtrails into the atmosphere because it was sort of like there was a chemical in it, which was zinc, or there was zinc powder in it, or like some sort of metallic powder, and that was linked to Project Bluebeam, as in the sense that it was able to reflect light a lot better, and make their holograms a lot more realistic. Now, the whole idea of a Project Bluebeam, so it's using projection technology, isn't it?
Yeah, and low frequencies.
So using projection technology, I mean, it's not that. I mean, there's no projectors that I've seen that are, like, you know, going to be so realistic that you can fake something in the sky that's going to make me go, do you know what? I was wrong all along. I'm throwing away my religious beliefs and I'm, you know, quitting my job.
Yeah, I don't think we're there, but I think we're getting there, because there's even a program now called Project Blue Book.
The TV
Bluebeam, sorry.
The show?
No, Project Bluebeam, sorry. And it's actually a company.
Okay.
So that's actually making that
sort of technology,
the reality, for builders, designers, and stuff like that.
Now, there's nothing wrong with, like, augmented reality stuff. I mean, this is the difference as well, because if you put into Google Project Bluebeam, you will come across loads of videos where you can kind of think, is that augmented reality where it'll show up on the screen but it's not there in real life? Or is it a hologram? Because there's a few videos that make it out as if these holograms are actually interactable and you can kind of actually reach out and touch them. And it's kind of like, well, great. I mean, hologram technology seems amazing. Yeah. And, you know, if it's only going to get better, but to use it as a method of seeing is believing and showing people something that's going to change their minds. Now, remember a couple of years ago, there was that whole kind of mirage sort of situation where there was a city in the sky. China.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone was saying, oh, you know, it's Project Bluebeam, it's, you know, a parallel universe of some description.
Yeah, we're seeing everything.
Or most people, as they said, was a product of natural phenomena.
Yeah.
Now, as soon as you go, oh, it's product of natural phenomena, you can argue it, or you can go, all right, fair enough, because I don't know, right? So
unidentified.
But the thing is, for something to be so kind of mind-blowing that it's going to make everybody drop what they're doing, would have to be worldwide, right? It'd have to appeal to everybody's sort of, like, base, you know, instant fear or whatever they were trying to appeal to, rather religion or you know, belief in extraterrestrial or something along those lines.
But this is sort of where the low frequency
but that's what I'm saying. It's like, well, how can, you know, you tailor it so specifically to each individual.
And what happens in the mistake?
We live in a melting pot society now. I mean, you've got all these people. You've got people who believe in God next door. Yeah. Whereas, like, I believe there could be so he's trying to implant one thought in my head, but another one in theirs.
Yeah.
I mean,
that takes a lot of energy.
This technology seems quite advanced, if that is the case.
Totally.
So, the theory is quite a wild one.
Well, it started in 1994 with this guy, Sergio, wrote a book on Bluebeam, which it was supposed to have started in 1983, but it ended up starting in 1995 to 1996, according to him, at the time.
Okay. So, I think straight out of the bat, it seems like, as conspiracy theories go, I'd say it was a pretty kind of stretch. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously you've got loads of restrictions there. First of all, you've got a wild plan, right, which seems impossible to execute, if you like, right? Because as far as we know, the technology doesn't exist, right? Then you've got to tailor-make all these frequency mind manipulation waves that target certain people for their certain belief system, which is mind-boggling in itself, right, as a piece of software or an algorithm that was capable of doing that, like, what if I'm believes in aliens and they write my code, but then tomorrow I find Jesus? Do you know what I mean? They can't account for
your
change of decision or free will. Exactly, right. So
but that's where, like, computers can come in and stuff like that, on knowing roughly on what
it's too far out, right, for a start. So we'll go through the steps, right, because the steps are crucial to making the plan work. And obviously, if we can understand the steps, we can understand where they're going with this, right? So, step one requires the breakdown of all archaeological knowledge.
Yes.
So this is obviously where we were talking a minute ago, where, faking earthquakes at precise locations around the planet. Yeah. To fake new discoveries at these locations.
Yeah, make normal religion now, or the major religions now, look like they're fake.
Well, this will be breaking news, and it'll finally explain to all people the error and fundamental error in major religions. And specifically Christianity and Muslim doctrines.
Yes.
So there's a big chunk of the planet who suddenly have been told, wait a minute, what you believe in is fundamentally wrong, and here's why. You know, and it's fake evidence, but I mean, that's enough to... But you see, the thing is, I think they underestimate people's, thing with, religion. It's like, if you believe it, it's like, even if you
believe it's a little different.
You're told that this is evidence for the contrary. I think if a Christian was out there, they'd probably agree with me that they'd say, I'm being tested. Yeah.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? He wants me to doesn't want me to buy the fucking fake info that's been put out there, because I know the evidence that's been presented to me, if that's what you're into, should be enough to...
True,
I mean, it must be something... What's this evidence they're planning on putting in these earthquake holes and finds, archaeological discoveries that's going to be so wild that... I mean, I've been saying this, but Oak Island could be one of these places. Do you know what I mean? And they could find something that could be, they're saying that at this bottom of this pit could be, religious artifacts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, potentially, what if these religious artifacts are things that were planted or potentially put there by the Knights Templar, because they would have just destroyed Christianity? They would have destroyed the religions at the time.
Well, yeah, episode 14 was it? Like, that still hasn't come forward. Yeah, because it's a big thing.
It doesn't matter,
really.
Well, no, I don't think
because
it
disappeared. It took away from there for a week. So what happened within that week? And there was no proper explanation.
No, there was kind of like a point there where they thought where it looked like they were going to find something, and then an episode disappeared.
Yeah.
But then again, that could have just been like it could have been anything. Yeah. But
but
I mean, that was so. Well, no, I know, but I mean, there's been so many things since that they've found that I think that outweigh it. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But it is heading in that direction where they keep leading you up that garden path, like I say, in a predictive programming sense. That if they do find something of religious significance, then they've already put that out there. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a possibility, and I'd say that potentially if they did find something, it could be maybe along them lines where it was like it was of such religious significance that it has a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. True. But they added. They weren't just them bits to add in. I mean, supposedly there was some films like E.T., Star Trek, Star Wars, 2002, and even Jurassic Park to try and put things into your head on this, that, and the other.
I totally agree. I totally think that with that predictive programming sort of aspect, where if you kind of introduce it as a concept, in a societal way, where it's like if Disney suddenly start, which they're doing a lot of, they're introducing concepts that are more kind of forward thinking and progressive in a societal way, what more in line with how society's going. So
true.
But that makes it more socially acceptable, which makes it the norm, right? And then again, it's like if you can kind of break down that's the first step, isn't it? I mean, like if you want to, upset the current way of thinking, you need to completely tear down the established way of thinking. And bring forward your own.
Make you think more individual, so they can grab your attention more.
So I think that's kind of the point of step one is to kind of like. Try and bring it in.
Try and convince a little bit before.
No, it's not even a case of trying and convince anything. It's trying to make you pliable. Make you look at it in a new way. Because firstly, if you've got a strong religious belief or a belief in anything, and you come along and say and tear that down, then
you need to have a decent structure to put in front that actually counteracts against that and brings them forward to you.
Well, it's a long-winded way of saying it, but I'd say that it was more like it'd make. All right, then you're Christian, right? And I'm come up to you and I drop a knowledge bomb on you that says everything that you believe is now bollocks. Yeah, it doesn't exist. It was all fucking stories. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But you're shocked, exactly. But as a Christian person who's devoted your life to it,
be angry
then
with it as
you'd
well.
be angry with it. You'd be in a state where you'd be looking for direction. You'd be looking for a new thing to give you hope, or have I been getting this wrong all my life? Which is
you've opened
right
the doors
direction.
basically to go any and do.
But that makes you a prime target for me,
totally,
because I can swoop in then and go, well, this is actually the way,
yeah.
And based on this new evidence, you weren't that far wrong. Come and join our new age religion.
You just got to do a little bit here, a little bit there.
In order to kind of break down the current, situation, you need to kind of do that. You need to tear it down before you can do anything, because once you've got a population of people who are then looking for answers, and you can provide them, then more evidence people are going to turn to you and say, "Oh yes, we'll follow you, please." And that's when you get dictatorships and all that. So it is kind of interesting, like what the idea behind this is.
Some good stages, or not, as you'll find out.
So, what do you know about step 2?
Oh, step 2. I think everyone knows about step 2. I think.
Oh, go on.
Which is the holographic image.
Okay.
Of the gods in the sky.
Well, so there's a couple of different aspects on this, or a couple of sort of directions you can look at it, because some people say it's going to be some big sort of space show. It's going to be something to see in the sky. Yeah.
Could be laser beams.
Now,
and shit.
to some people, it could be the rapture.
I think that's stage 4, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, I think it ends up stage 4, but it's the beginnings of making it look like the rapture.
Well, I'd say all these
should I
beams
say?
well, I'm not sure. I think stage 4 would be the actual taking over of the planet, wouldn't it? The New World Order in place. But,
well,
you know...
terrifying the rest of the world to actually come into action.
Well, I think you'll be a bit more shocked at what comes at stage 4, because stage 2 is getting everybody eyes in the sky with a big laser show, big projections, beamed all over the planet. This is where the blue beam really gets its name.
Yeah.
The projections will take the shape of whatever deity is more prominent in the area, apparently.
Yeah.
And will speak in all languages at the same time.
Yeah.
At the end of
Using low
this
frequency.
light show, the god will then merge into one god and then form the Antichrist, right?
Yeah.
So this is like basically this is the original blue beam I heard, but then over the time this alien invasion has ended up coming into it as well, right?
Yeah.
So all these religions and all these sort of people are going to see these visions in the sky.
Yeah.
With again speaking all languages. Again, is going to be kind of a personal sort of trip.
Well, yeah. Supposedly, I don't know where they're going to get it, but low frequency telepathic to every single person, and so they may. So it looks like that the god is talking to you and you only.
So what happens if, like, I worship fucking... There's a lot of people out there who are, One Direction fans or Justin Bieber. What if their god's Justin Bieber? Is he going to appear? Is it going to be like the Marshmallow Man in Ghostbusters, where it's like, if I think about J. Edgar Hoover's going to come and kill us.
No, you know who it's going to be, don't you?
The Marshmallow Man.
It's going to be Trump, innit? It's going to be Trump in the sky going, I'm taking over.
That's what I'm saying. So what happens if you don't follow traditional gods? What happens if you're a bit more of a U2 Bono fan?
Well, this is where they're trying to switch your mind onto... And it said major gods as well,
I'm not religious,
every
so
god.
Therefore that wouldn't apply to me. I'm going to see what I worship.
Well,
I don't
is where
even know.
4 comes into it then.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Well, this is where Spider-Man actually comes into it, because we were talking about the technology earlier and how could you actually do this. But Spider-Man Far From Home was literally this plot. Where there was a guy who was trying to convince the world that there was a plot to kind of from these sort of monsters that were attacking, and it was a big level event threat, and he had these drones that were projecting the hologram and the images, but also they were weaponized, which was able to create the damage and all that, which was pretty cool. But again, predictive programming, is that an idea that they're just rubbing it in your face and saying, there you go, this is probably what'll happen, but
Well, yeah, I mean, they were going to actually, in the first Gulf War, they actually got a physicist in, and they were actually looking at using a project like this to actually put a picture of Mohammed over Iraq, and actually to soften the people.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually one that they actually tried to look into.
Oh yeah, that was when they were trying to in 1991 in Baghdad.
Yeah,
they were trying to overthrow Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, it was a serious suggestion, and they seriously actually got someone to look into it if it would work in that date, but it wouldn't work in that time.
So I mean, this whole kind of like projection thing. I mean, how many people are going to buy that?
Well, those who haven't,
they're going to have to put something pretty heavy in the water for us all to be like, holy shit! Oh, in fact, they've just vaccinated everyone.
Yes.
Oh no,
they've been sprinkling shit in the air for God knows how long. They've been putting shit in your water as well. It could be any substance of any kind of food, air, or drink you could have.
Okay.
It could easily, because it all it is drugging you, and if it doesn't have an effect and then put a low frequency to you. I mean, the CIA and all that have been doing these kind of shits for years, you know what I mean? All these programs on how can I control you if I put this in you and then I do this and press this button, boom, a certain frequency will make you keel over or make you think, oh, I'm a bit nutty, or it could change your mind. I mean, don't forget, all these scientists, especially over the last 50 years, has been playing with stuff that fucks with your mind. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's definitely beyond doubt that this can and could be made. It's just a fact: has it or will it be made?
Right. Okay. Well, the second part of step 2 happens when the holograms result in the destruction of social and religious order. That's obviously going to cause a bit of anarchy in the streets.
Yeah.
And there'll be people of obviously all religious backgrounds.
Yeah.
Lost, confused.
Yeah.
On a scale that no one's ever seen before. Do you know what I mean? This is going to just it'd actually fuck the whole world up, wouldn't it? Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
If that was believed, this is the thing. It's like you'd have to. It's like, do you know when you get normal people just walking through the city centres most weeks, and then there'll be that one guy with the end is nigh sign.
Yeah.
It'll be like everyone running around and that one guy going, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not going to end. It's all fine.
I don't think people really care until it actually happens.
Well, apparently, so they were going, once obviously everybody's kind of terrified and you're scared that you're going to get your house looted and all the rest of it.
That's when you will need the toilet roll.
Apparently the United Nations plan to use Beethoven's Ode for Joy as the anthem to introduce the New Age and the one world religion.
Well, if they play that, I know you're taking the piss.
Maybe. So, obviously, there's, little to debunk all this at the moment, but there isn't it's common sense in a lot of ways. But obviously it is a big conspiracy. There's going to be people who totally believe what all this is saying.
The problem with this
this is the thing though, on a separate instance, I know Christians who believe the rapture's physically going to happen. White horses in the sky, the 4 horsemen, the literal rapture.
The good game picked up and the wrestler.
Exactly, right? And they go, I believe that's going to happen, right? So who's to say that, that's any kind of crazier than what these guys are saying in their sort of view of things?
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
Doing and scaring is scaring people into doing stuff. I mean, it's sort of like what they're doing now with this pandemic, scaring people you can't come back out and you can't do this, you can't do that, and then you're finding out that information that's supposed to be correct is not right and all that kind of stuff.
Well, this is the thing though, right? Because step 3, right, is telepathic electric two-way communication.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, telling you the individual.
So why not just use that straight away?
Because you need to break them before you fix them.
Well, no, because obviously it's like at the end of the day, it's like if you've got a telepathic two-way communication device, you can you can pretend to be God, and just go, hey, it's me, and then get him to do whatever you want. Yeah, but do you know what I mean? He's talking directly to me.
No, I don't think a lot of people would do that. I think
a
lot of people would either go and see the doctor.
But you believe, all right? So so you've just been told that this guy isn't real. Your gods are fake, and then all of a sudden now you've got a voice in your ear. I'm not being funny, but most people in a religious who were religious might think that wasn't really God talking and could be the other guy. Yeah, but what's more powerful, seeing the God in the sky and then it talking to you, thinking he's talking to you, or just putting something in your head? I don't know. I mean, but the fact is, putting thoughts into your head it can be very persuasive. But you could also consider yourself, well, you know what, I think I'm going a bit skits here, or someone's going to give you a pill, to get rid of that. And so after that, you've lost the ability to control that person. But if you come up in the sky and go, look, I'm Lord, blah, blah, now listen to me, you're more likely to listen. From what they're saying on here, so they're using this two-way communication that involves making people think that the God is speaking to them directly through telepathic, telekinetic or telepathic communication. Telepathy, yeah. So it's projected into their heads of each person individually. Yeah. Using extremely low frequencies or radio waves, right? Yeah. That's fair enough. But this is the target is so specific to an individual, and a project of that scale, for the amount of people on the planet, there'd have to be so many people involved in it. Yeah, manning the computers, individually working. Who've you got? Oh, I've got a case file this big with 50 million names in it.
It'll have
I've
to be
got
on
to
the
go
wording.
planting some shit in there and be mine later.
Yeah, it would have to be on the wording, what they actually say to convince you, and everyone's different. It also would have to be that you can't communicate back, or you can, if you can communicate back. Yeah, I suppose you.
Yeah, it's two-way communication. That means I can talk back, which means that there's somebody on the other end. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I could do that with a mobile phone.
Oh, well, that's what I'm
the
saying.
The computer can turn around and tell me what's what. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
automated. They just put it automated. You know what I mean?
Well, this is the thing. You see, if this happened, say, 50 years ago, or even when this guy brought this theory forth, it sounds way more kind of like extreme, but like in a lot of ways,
it gets extreme.
In a lot of ways, when you think about it now, when you think, oh well, how two-way communication, but through telepathic, you can go, well, you can kind of explain it a little bit because we're used to technology now, but to that telepathic communication, that's not a thing. Yeah, that's sci-fi still.
Yeah,
right?
They might ring you up instead now then. You know what I mean? They might go ding, ding, ding. Yeah, this is God. This. How you doing? You having a nice day? I know you see me up in the sky, but could you praise me instead of anyone else?
So they're trying to say, obviously, it's a hard trying to convince someone. But if someone is in desperation, they're more likely to turn round to that God if they say, well, that God and that God and that God don't exist, but I do. You're in the world of shit at the minute. The only way to get out of it is pray for me. They're more than likely going for it. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, you're a shill there, it's like you've basically been going, I believe in this one God. And then as soon as the shit hits the fan, and somebody else presents himself to you, you're on that boat. Yeah. And it's like, well, how do you know? Like I say, I mean, I'm not religious, but if you were presented with, if you believe something and you've believed it all your life, and then you're presented with a choice and they're saying, well, actually, the person that you've believed in all your life is the bad guy. Yeah, but this new guy who you know nothing about, but he's offering salvation, right? And you go with him. Don't be surprised if you're getting poked with a pitchfork 10 minutes later.
Well, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
True. But
that's actually kind of like the kind of pussy route out of it. You're going to run away, and it's like you're basically going to who's offering protection instant. Do you know what I mean?
Then it switches in stage 4, though, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, stage 4, it's like it gets kind of a bit silly, doesn't
grim,
it?
Yeah.
So obviously, we were saying like obviously there is the kind of the alien invasion thing, but I would have thought that was part and parcel of the other stage because, like I say, it's like you've got to cater for the people who don't have a religious belief.
Yeah. But you've also got to cater for the governments that have just seen these spaceships come down. What's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to shoot. They're going to use nukes, and that's what they want because that brings chaos, and then it brings chaos into order.
Well, they've already got chaos, haven't they? Because there's loads of people.
Yeah, but
now,
it can be a lot more.
These nuns being more evil than they ever were.
Yeah.
You've got loads of like people like thinking, well, what's good and bad anymore? Do you know? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Where my religious where's my religious sort of truth been heading all my life, and now you're telling me it was all for nothing.
Yeah, but that all fucks your head up, you know what I mean? And then that means I can control you more. I can get in there.
So making the Christians think that the rapture's happening again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I think this is all, I mean, step 4 and step 2 are very similar. I think it's kind of like a continuation.
Yeah.
These things in terms of step 1 and step 4, between step 2 and step 4 even, are ongoing things, I think. Where
I think
start that in step 2
and then hit them.
And then keep ramping it up. So you've got this sort of like images of these gods telling you that they're not the god anymore. Satan is the god.
Yeah, psychologically
and then all
hitting
of
you and then whipping you.
you've got this religious aspect, but then all of a sudden you've got this alien, like you say, UFO aspect.
Yeah.
I mean, could this even kind of like be like abductions and stuff? Could there be some abductions where they would just start taking random people? I don't know.
No, I think because all that kind of shit's happening now. So I think like you hear the stories about that kind of stuff now, and some of them I believe that are governmental, and some of them that whatever else is out there. That's already been starting, and I think the UFO thing is, I reckon a few blue beam incidents they've used across the way, but I think there's also some, true behind that.
Well, apparently they're going to be using a mixture of electronic and supernatural forces, allowing the supernatural forces to travel through fiber optics. Yeah.
Right.
So if you're sending supernatural forces through fiber optics, who would have known that they could? Optics and other power and telephone lines, and obviously other electronic equipment.
Yeah.
And they're obviously, because a lot of equipment by this time, when they do decide to kind of put in this plan into operation, will have the special microchip installed. Yeah, that's what they're saying for step 4. So I wonder what these supernatural powers, supernatural forces they're using.
Yeah, I don't know. I reckon it'd be just like
you see, that's a get out though, isn't it?
Stuff.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because obviously it's like when you think about what people believe, magic and science, and whether is it science is magic just science that you've not understood yet?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you've got that aspect where this guy's putting it down to supernatural forces, but is that not just a way of saying that it was a technology he didn't know how to explain?
A lot of magic and stuff that you could put now, it could be technology later on. Well, you know what I mean, playing with forces.
Well, using all these techniques from holograms and low wave emissions, and all this crap. Right, they're gonna, make us think that there's a combination of religious and alien forces, supernatural forces, all this stuff going on. Yeah, which obviously is their plan, is to create chaos and a breakdown of society.
And they're putting order.
People will finally be willing to, maybe get on board. With the New World Order. Well, I suppose, like you say, isn't it? I mean, it's like if do you know in The Walking Dead? Yeah. There's always like you've got like this breakdown of society. Yeah, but if someone rolled in, in an official capacity with like tanks and jeeps, and went, "We've got a cure, boys." Yeah. Right. We're setting up a new society. Then you just go with it, wouldn't you? Because it's better than what you've got at the moment.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, right, sweet. Someone's in charge, finally.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Takes the pressure off, the person who's just, kind of dealing with it. Yeah.
True.
But in an apocalyptic situation where you've got kind of like a breakdown of society, I think most people would go with the first
group
that came along that had showed a bit of authority, and looked after you. And if that would be the government stepping in and going, right, this is the new way, everything's gone to shit. Obviously, we're going to abandon all that. We're going to start up a new civilization. This is how we're going to do it.
You're my bitches.
But like you say, it needs to be broken down before it can be built back up.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's like one of those things, isn't it? It's like when
collapse of civilization.
Going off something really random, but like flying cars, right?
Yeah.
We've talked about this in the past, and about how, like, you could go, oh, well, we could argue bring in the flying car, or bring in a different type of vehicle, but the infrastructure's already in place for the motorways, the petrol stations, all that stuff. So it's easier to keep that in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that remained like that for a long, long time.
Course,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
cost effective.
Because it's easier, because the infrastructure's there.
Yeah, totally.
But obviously, after a while, you realise that that's not the best way of doing things, so you need to break that down. But it's difficult, so you rather have a transitional period like we're doing at the moment, where we're trying to introduce more electric cars.
Yeah.
Or you break the whole thing down and you start again, which is what the idea behind Project Bluebeam is.
Yeah, if you've tried to do it the soft way and it hasn't worked, you've got to try it a bit harder and a bit more harder and a bit more harder till it gets through, basically, to their domain. They own you.
Well, obviously, I think they're trying to thin the numbers down as well with this sort of like, martial law-esque sort of
totally
period where everyone's in chaos. Project Bluebeam, it doesn't really kind of, as a theory, I think it's a bit too far-fetched for me. I think there's too much going on, and I think there's too much technology involved. But on the other hand, like I say, technology moves so fast, and then you've got things happening like Elon Musk and putting all these satellites in the air.
Yeah, there's a lot of satellites up there.
In terms of coverage of the planet, if you wanted to kind of beam down a signal that was worldwide, then, it's not within the realms of possibility that could happen, or that, we're going in those directions. So,
Well, yeah, but then you've got to consider as well his death. He apparently died with another unknown reporter. Actually, both of them had a heart attack in 1996, but for him, his kids were taken away the day before because he was homeschooling them, and the government wanted them to actually have governmental schooling. So there might be a little thing there of, was he psychological stable as well, and was he in the
Serge?
Was he in the right frame of mind? But then again, why did this other person the same year have a heart attack with him and all this?
Oh yeah, well, like he made wild claims. I mean, he claimed in that the film 2001: Space Odyssey, Star Wars, like you say, Star Trek,
supposedly
involved an invasion from space, or of basically nations coming together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
totally.
And again, it's like we've talked about this idea that Bush, when he was going on about kind of like a threat. Coming down, and would that unite the planet? I mean, as a planet, we're quite divided. Would an outside threat?
Oh, you mean Ronald Reagan?
Yeah,
Reagan speech.
Ronald Reagan speech. So, like, if it's Star Wars speech. So, like, if he's kind of like, he knew having that idea that if something was an outside threat, and if it came down, we'd band together and want a kind of
would we though?
No, I think we would in a lot of ways, but like the thing is as well, we're very kind of unpredictable as a species. That's so true. It's like and the fact that this is kind of like talked about as a theory, that there's a percentage of people who know what this is. Right. And as far-fetched as it is, if it happened, somebody would speak up, and go, oh, it's all load of shit, and try and kind of educate people.
It is thin on the ground for the information, I must admit.
Oh, yeah, I found it difficult to find anything really kind of that most people, if you're interested in this, hasn't heard before. Yeah. But we're trying to kind of find out as much as we could. It's more interesting that I find how this is taken off as a conspiracy theory. I think it's more of a progressional thing, because once you start kind of trying to answer the questions that it presents, then you start asking like, they're doing these chemtrails things, is that connected? Or what is it that's in the thing? That ties into it because that is more of a reflective surface, so that'd be great for projecting on, because it'd make a more solid hologram. Again, it's like,
but we haven't had a perfectly good explanation like, why they have been doing that kind of stuff.
I understand that, but on a logistical standpoint, like I said earlier, you've got kind of like, all right, then, so you'd need planes flying around busting chemtrails every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You'd have pilots obviously flying the planes. You'd have like projectionists operating these massive illusions.
Then you're going to be taking it down with other planes going through it and shit.
You'd have people like operating these mind control things, making it very individual to each person.
Wow.
All these sort of languages involved. On an individual individual basis, they're trying to say that they're going to make it unique to each one of us.
Yeah,
and how many people are in the world? Hard. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So the amount of people who'd need to be involved in pulling it off
would be at least half.
And what makes them so special that they don't get the treatment? Do you know what I mean? That they don't get to see God. That they don't get to be part of the whole ruse. Do you know what I mean? It's these people would need to be rather involved, or it'd be so automated that only the top people would know about it. So I think there's too kind of far out. I think there's too many aspects of it that go wrong. There's too many people who... There's too many people... There's too much... It's almost like overkill, if you like. If it was a simple conspiracy theory, it'd be more viable. But because you're trying to say... this is a conspiracy that's not only going to, brainwash you. You're going to see it, you're going to hear it, you're going to feel it, and guaranteed chaos coming after it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so many variables that I just can't see it working. Now, if they did pull it off, I'd be very impressed.
Well, I've got one for you here.
Go on.
You know that video of in China with them towers and that?
Yeah.
It was actually a fake.
Which one?
The one that they showed towers in the clouds.
Yeah, that's the city in the clouds.
It was actually ended up being something like a 15-year-old boy who'd actually designed it and put it up on YouTube, and then everyone went wild over it.
No, apparently it was actually just a natural phenomenon.
Apparently, guys, apparently at the time, the government suggested that because there was no other answer that they had. But then they had an investigation afterwards, and they found out that it was actually the lad who actually posted it.
You see, this is the thing, you put stuff on YouTube and it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And then you think, oh, well, it can't, you've just got to always question it. This is what I was saying. There's a load. If you Google Project Bluebeam, and you'll find videos.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of videos where it's like, wow, that looks really impressive as a hologram. But I couldn't tell you if that was just very cleverly done augmented reality or if that was a genuine hologram. If it was, it looked great, but it still looked like a hologram. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It still was.
Totally.
It was physically see-through its light. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we're going to see more of this stuff, so we're all individually going to see how good and how quality the performance of it in society. That's what it's going to look like, and if it actually, if we did actually have the power to do that kind of stuff, in the past.
That Serge dude, he actually wrote a book detailing the theory back in 1994. If anyone's interested. And he says, according to him about the New World Order, he says what will happen soon afterwards is people will be required to take an oath to Lucifer in a ritual and enter the New World Order. They said any Christian children will be kept for human sacrifice. Prisoners will be used for medical experimentation. They'll also be used for giving organs and giving to organ banks.
Transplants. And that. Well, yeah.
Healthy workers will be slave labour.
Well, we're not that far from that now, to be honest.
Uncertain prisoners, which would be sent to re-education centres. So that's people like, people who were like me, who were like, I don't know about any of this.
Nah, they get you into a room and fuck your mind up, and you're the new assassins who look after.
And you'll be sent there to learn how to be glorious in the New World Order.
Sounds wicked in hell, doesn't it?
And then International Execution Centre if you're a naughty boy.
Naughty boy, I'm going to be ending up execute the day I get there.
And then there's an as yet unknown 7th classification.
Unknown 7th?
Yeah. So
A bit
I mean, there's a lot, this thing is, though, it sounds all very very dark, do you know what I mean? It doesn't sound very light and progressive going forward, getting a nice cities built and stuff like that. It sounds like you're gonna build some like Castle Grayskulls on every corner.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, I don't think that. No, it just sounds like this is well. Yeah, look forward to it. This is hell. It's on its way.
What do you reckon to the whole conspiracy? What do you think about the whole Project Bluebeam thing? I mean, it's like I say, I think there's too much going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
Evidence.
What do you think?
I think on half of it, I believe that it's possible, especially nowadays. I think it is possible to do a proportion of it. But I don't think we are that advanced to do all of it. But then again...
No, it's the mind control and two-way communication that boggles me. It's like, to an extent, I can see that might be some sort of technology that comes forward in the future. But then if it does, then it'll be technology we were aware of. It's going to be like...
Well, don't forget they're going to hide the technology before we get it.
Do you know? So I can't see it being like, well, yeah, but like, so what do you think that's technology that they have now and that they could use that against us?
Well, look at all the stuff that, like when we've talked about, car engine, using water. Right, you can't do that. If you do that, it's copyright law. We can't do this, can't do that. All these like technologies that have been put to the side.
We've talked about suppressed technology, and that's what I was getting out earlier about infrastructure. It's like you won't. It's like if it's going to upset the current money-making strategy, then we won't do it. So it gets put on the back burner. Yeah. And if it's gonna make a product that's gonna outlive the current model, then we don't want to put that out anyway because there's no money in that. We want people to buy replacements every 5 minutes. So there's a load of different reasons why products get suppressed and technology gets suppressed.
Yeah.
In terms of what governments and people like the 1%ers have in the bank, then we don't know. I mean, yeah, you're probably right. And again, this is the thing, isn't it? We say the governments, but do you think the government's going to be
it's the hand
all
behind
involved?
The government.
This sounds like a global scheme. Proportion to Dr. Evil or Goldfinger or something, like a Bond villain.
Yeah, but then if all the countries knew about it, why would you fire all your nuclear weapons off or, fight these invisible, that's the alien ships, which they want that to happen?
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. So who's the puppet master? Because it wouldn't be the government's, orchestrating this.
And it won't be the people. It'd be the ones at the top.
Because, again, that's it. It's like, if these sort of schemes being plotted, you'd think that anyone related to the government, which they're saying it's NASA that's involved, which is a government agency. That's bollocks. True. I don't see it.
I don't see it through NASA. I think maybe another, top secret organisation, one by the side.
Getting all your countries to fire off all your nukes and create anarchy. I mean, that will create anarchy. It'll also create no one left, including the person who's... unless he's in a bunker.
But imagine this as well. If you threw all your nukes out and you were the only country who didn't shoot one, you've got the power in your hands.
You'd be like, I get to live in a toxic wasteland forever.
Which I reckon it'd be the US
like
with
Mitchell and Webb with the event.
New World Order sitting in the US Senate going like, we're not going to fire a fucking thing.
We've got a world in motion.
We have.
There you go, New Order.
It's a busy world.
Got a bit of New Order. Overall, not convinced about this one. It is an interesting one, and it is kind of like so far out. I do love it.
Yeah.
But again, I think this is a product of things getting connected to that wouldn't necessarily be... It's trying to explain something, a question, which raises more questions.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, in terms of, like, how would you do this? And then you have to explain how would this be done, which is just logistically a nightmare, if I was honest.
Yeah, true. But it's like I said, we only know so much, so,
I'm not saying that, again, if the possibility that this sort of thing could maybe happen, Yeah, there's always a
There's
possibility.
always a chance, yeah.
You know, I'm not going to say. I mean, if
But in this day and age, I don't think
it probably will. But like, you know,
yeah, at the moment, I don't think it's strong enough to actually be able to do anything.
Interesting one though.
It is
very
though,
interesting.
Really
Let us know what you guys think at home. Do you think Project Bluebeam's a real deal?
Yeah, and why not?
Exactly. Tell us why. I do quite like hologram technology, but I think like again, the thing where we're at is a bit of Tupac and Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I think we are. Yeah, I think we've got a long way to go.
That's the best we'll get about a bit of moonwalking.
Yeah. Yeah, I think next generation may be worrying about it.
You never know, mate. Honestly, the way technology moves, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I love projection mapping. Now, this is again, you can program a projector to do a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, I mean, I've dabbled in the projection mapping. I do quite like the idea that you can control the light and get it to project in certain ways and project. A lot of cool stuff. You see kind of Disney use it a lot in terms of like making it's good for kind of like Halloween and decorating a building with a projection image, and it looks great. If you just Google projection mapping, you'll see what I mean.
There's loads of towers that do it now.
It's a hologram projection, and I mean but that's on a flat surface. You've still got a surface to project on. Projecting into the sky and then trying to,
with no interruptions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of ask, especially in,
And then again, it's like you say, it's like I've seen, examples where people have projected like a moon in the sky or projected, and it's a faint projection. It looks like a projection. If you flew a plane through it, it'd go right through it. It's fake, but it's so localized to like the 4 blocks that can see it because
it's not worth doing.
It's not a planetary blag, is it? They're not going to be able to convince the whole world by making a viral video of a moon in the sky.
Half of us would probably turn around and go, "Fucking hell, I'm on acid or something."
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's going to be a lot of people who are just like high and not really kind of grasp it. But then there'll be loads of people who, I just can't see it.
No, I can't see it, to be honest. But it's one of them that, you never can tell.
You never can
Especially, the thing that gets me, though, is the thing like what Bill Ricks said and stuff like that, which was like, we're 400 years in advance of technology. But then also, you've got to consider other people who've turned around and said, like, it works out that we, as... knowing what... 2% of computerism, but the military get 40 every year.
Well, knowing what we know now, if it does happen, I'll take my hat off to him because it would be an impressive feat to witness.
Yeah. If you can convince me, then...
And then I'm trying to put thoughts in my head,
but
make a cup of tea.
That's if you survive it, though. I mean, you're only going to see the first bit and then next bit, boom.
No, but that's what I'm saying. They'd be just more likely to get me in the conversion stage. Do you know when they're going like... Yeah, are you a believer? Right, you can come in.
Yeah,
are you not? Are you a prison? Right, stick him in the fucking his organs. Get his organs out.
Yeah.
Stick him in the forced labour camp first for a few days. Do you know what I mean?
Months.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It'll probably more likely be one of them, and then they'll be like, I'd have to turn around and go, "Oh yeah, believe me."
Yeah.
Just to get rushed through. I don't like queues.
Yeah. Just rush me through. Yeah.
What
you want me to do? Yeah, I'll do that for you.
Me, super believer me.
Yeah, you'll be on the top chair.
Take me to management level.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You'll be like, then what are you going to do when you get to the top?
I'd revolutionise a new pointy stick.
A nice pointy stick.
Pointy sticks for poking. Yeah. So anyway, right. So there you go. Well, let us know what you think. If you think it's a legit theory, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
But we've got much more coming up in the show, including this week's news. It's the news! Well, like every week, we look at the news from Earth, space, and beyond, and this week's no different. We've looked over the World Wide Web for a solid 20 minutes, and we found you the best news around. So, is there anything that's tickled your fancy in the old news columns this week?
Oh, yes. Yesterday, the big report.
Oh, which one was this?
This was the UFO report or the UAP report?
Yeah. Well, none surprise.
Well,
I mean, we did do an episode about it a couple of weeks ago.
We did.
Which basically said all this.
Yeah.
There was nothing new in the report.
Yeah. They don't know what it is. It's more than likely
but
to be
they're trying
foreigners.
to say they're hiding
Countries.
something now. And it's, why do the report in the first place?
Because they had to. There was £22 million put in there.
No, but is it like a thing where it's like, again, like we were talking about earlier about predictive programming, drip feeding the information. So when it does finally come out, it was like, well, we have talked about it.
That's true.
At least it's on the table. But the point being is like, well, if you're denying that it's aliens, then you're suggesting that this technology is coming from another country. And if that's the case, then it's a bit of a scary notion.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I'd rather it be aliens, to be honest.
To be honest, yeah.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. It's like, is it a case of that if other countries do have this, then are we in a position where we could acquire the same or similar? Or is it a case of a technology arms race? It's weird. It raises more questions than it does answer.
Yeah, totally.
But I think a lot of people wanted clarification.
Yeah.
But like we said earlier, if there's so much evidence out there, you don't need the government seal of approval.
Yeah.
You can see it for yourself.
To be honest, yeah, you're totally right on that one. And this was, to be honest, a waste of time yet again. A waste of time, a waste of money. And they only looked at 150 videos and that, and they said that there was a majority of them they couldn't count for what they are at all.
Yeah, but
and
that's
then,
what I'm saying.
Well,
they could.
Any other investigation? Yeah, exactly.
There's loads of evidence. I mean, there's loads of stuff that I was saying this last week. There's stuff that you could have put in, but you didn't because you're just investigating this specific set. Of grey video
narrative
that nobody can kind of make head and tail of. It doesn't really give much information away.
So if it doesn't,
it's easier to kind of go, well, it's inconclusive. Yeah. Whereas if you get some of the better evidence on the table, we'll see what you can say about that.
That's it. I mean, Dr. Gray, I've said before, Dr. Gray, sue him. He wants you to sue him. So then he can bring the evidence to the table and actually get it written in court and on paper that actually this is a big issue, but we're just throwing it to the side.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there you go. Well, that's as soon as I'll put the full report on the website.
Yeah. All 7 pages.
All 7 pages of it. I found this story. This is people are partying.
Yeah,
again, which is cool.
Yeah.
Well, this is a bit where, when people party a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Well, this is a redneck rave that went a bit wrong.
Ooh.
There was a redneck rave at a Kentucky park.
Okay.
That ended up with 48 people charged. There was a throat slashing and an impaling.
Whoa, that's a bit...
it's a bit of a party, that, isn't it? You're fucking having a picnic. Well... Yeah, so it's getting international attention for a 5-day party called Builders the Redneck Rave.
Yeah.
Dozens of people were arrested and, it didn't turn out to be the best time.
Yeah, it sounds like someone went a little bit naughty there.
I think this is the thing, though. It's like, but, it's a great idea having like a big, blowout.
5-day
big kind of festival atmosphere and, party. But it needs to be, the thing is, you want it to have that sort of freedom element. You want people to enjoy it, not feel like they're being policed, that they can have a good time without being hassled
or any complaints.
And exactly. Yeah, right. But to get that, you still do need an element of security going on.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because you let people just do what they want.
Yeah, then it would
does
be a
cause
dangerous,
a bit of problems,
world.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, but it looks like that's what's happened in this instance. So the organisers posted on Facebook that they plan to improve things.
Security
obviously, if they do get to go again.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they might have their license pulled from them, and then they won't be able to do it again.
Well,
that's not good for party boys and girls.
Who got impaled?
I know. And
Do you
why
know
would
what
you
I
do it?
mean?
What, someone throwing, I bet I could throw that further and hit it in Jack's back.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Drugging.
Well,
It
a
was
bit. Well, alcohol and, messing
It was
around
on
with stuff.
an impaling vibe.
Ah, damn.
So, yeah.
That is not good. Not good. Not good. I thought, what? Don't invite me to that Barbie, mate. You know what I mean? That festival. I think I'll stay away from that.
Well, I found this other story.
Yeah.
Police breaking up an exorcism
Oh, what's going on?
at a Home Depot.
Now? Oh, at Home Depot?
Yeah, that's where exorcisms usually take place.
What the?
I don't know. Well, this one
Anywhere,
did.
innit?
It was in what is it?
Wacka Wackaland.
Lackawanna County.
Right.
The police there had to break up an exorcism in the lumber aisle of a home improvement store.
Oh, why? Because they were going wild and wood was getting thrown all around their heads.
So apparently the details are a bit sketchy, but just what was going on inside the Home Depot when on Monday afternoon, the police were called around 3:26 to escort several people out of the store
Several?
for bad behaviour.
Oh, what? So someone's gone in and gone, right, we're going to do a Ouija board right in the
Well,
centre
apparently,
of this
according to reports, there was an exorcism and it was held for the trees that had been turned into lumber.
Oh my days. That's climate change going a bit.
So I think it sounds like a couple of protesters who've gone a bit silly.
Yeah.
And the police had to be called to
A few mushrooms too much, I think. I think they've had a little dabble in a mushroom farm.
When I first read the story, I hoped it was a proper exorcism.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He was like, I command thee, Lord.
And all of a sudden the spirits just disappeared.
Obviously, I've been reading a book about it recently, so
you have gone right in your spirits, you, haven't you?
Spirits.
Yeah, man.
You're going
to an AA meeting soon.
What? You're like, yeah, my name's Gally, and I'm into demons and that.
Yeah, show me a demon.
What are they called? Gins.
Gins, yes.
I like a gin.
Yes. Yeah.
Brandy.
Yeah. Rum.
Baileys.
Nice.
Baileys at Christmas.
Vodka,
Champagne
definitely.
at wedding.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to have a champers. Yeah, definitely.
And a Baileys at
nice
Christmas.
Expensive. And a what?
Baileys at Christmas.
A Baileys, yeah. You know what? Funny enough, this Christmas, first time in years that I've had a Baileys.
Right, come on. Have you got any news for us?
I have Crimea.
Crimea River.
That little island off Ukraine that got took over by Russians. Well, a British...
You know the one?
Yeah, you know the one where there's a little bit of an argument. That's my island. No, that's mine. I'm taking it over.
There's always a bit like that, isn't
Yeah.
it? There's always these type of little arguments going on.
Yeah, they're wrong. It's just stupid, isn't it? But basically, we had a ship from the British Navy that went past Crimea and was threatened by Russia of being in the
They said
Russian
they were in their
area,
waters,
but they wasn't.
Which
It was
is kind of
international.
cheeky because they've been doing a lot of that themselves
Yeah.
recently, haven't they? Going over airspaces and stuff like that, and then they turn around and
Hawaii.
go. What was it? Putin said to the new leader of the CIA or the MI6. He turned around and went, I'd hope he might stop mind his business and poking his nose into things that doesn't concern him. And when he questioned about him coming over our airspace, so
more than once.
That's so obviously they do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is water that wasn't even known to be theirs. They've just said that's ours.
And
what
it was
doing?
12 miles off the coast of Crimea, and it was in international waters.
They fired on the boat, didn't they? But
they fired near the boat, yeah.
A warning shot. But then they were saying apparently they were just doing exercises, and it was a bit of a coincidence, a coinky-dink. Well, they were in the area.
They got a Coast Guard ship, a little small one, to try and push him out the way.
It's all a bit
and
suspect, isn't it?
But now they've been threatened if they go through there once again that they will be shot upon by the Russians. So
silly that. Well, in that case, why don't we say if you come in our airspace again, we'll shoot you down because it'll cause problems. It's easier for them to just go, we not do that.
And by the way,
but they still
international
do.
law has not said that the Crimea is Russian. It's still Ukraine's, but like they're just being occupied at the minute. So, Taiwan's more chance of being called a country than that place at the moment.
Well, yeah, for the moment.
For the moment, yeah.
What was I going to say? I found this news story.
Yeah.
And I keep talking about Subway, as a chain, as a,
Again?
Yeah. They're
Oh,
never
my
out.
days.
They're never out of the news with their shady food practices.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, right? So this is a new study
Yeah.
into Subway sandwiches, right?
Mm.
Now, they did a test on the tuna sub, right?
All right. Okay. Yeah.
And it turns out that there is absolutely no tuna DNA found in a
What
Subway
the
tuna sandwich, according to
Not
an
dolphin, is it?
NYT report.
Oh my days.
Well, what is it?
Yeah. If it's not, well, hold on. Can't they get done for selling product that's not being? Well, one might not be fit for purpose, and two, you don't actually know that product. You've been told one, it's this, and actually it's something else.
I know. Well, the labs say that the tuna was either heavy processed, so heavily processed that the tuna's DNA was unidentifiable.
Whoa.
Or it was something else like skipjack or yellowfin.
See, I guarantee they'll turn around and say the first one. Oh, yeah, well, we minced it up that much that, you're not going to get DNA sample. Man.
I'm not having it
I'm
because
not having
it's
it.
like
It's
they've been so
bullshit again.
kind of done in the past for
This, that, and the
using
other.
products that aren't what they say they are. So what was the last one?
Bread again?
Well, the bread was a big one,
bread
but there was
big
a
one.
couple of other
Wasn't
ones
it something
about
to
the
do with
fillings.
meatballs or
Yeah, there
something?
was
Yeah.
something about the fillings that doesn't come back as legit.
Product weren't supposed to be what it's supposed
honestly,
to be.
I think this must be like the fourth Subway story, and I
Yeah.
think I'm glad I don't eat at this place. You know, 'cause
you know what? Yeah,
you definitely don't know what you're getting.
yeah.
And
I'd be surprised if they'd be
it's amazing
open
that
again
it's
in
like
next 2 years.
I think if you look at the packaging as well, it says they're owned by the Association of Doctors.
What?
Yeah, seriously.
What, psycho
that's what they
doctors?
say who run Subway, or they brought, they own the franchise, own the business.
Well, they need to get sacked.
So we
Get
don't
someone
know.
else in because they're not doing the right job.
Dodgy stuff.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want to go to that doctor, would you?
It's like Soylent Green.
Yeah,
It's like we'll feed them the humans.
yeah. We'll just feed them whatever we've got in the.
So
in the
anything else you've seen before we move on to NASA news? Because I've got one more. I've got one or two more actually.
Yeah, I've got 2 more. I've got.
Well, come on then.
Come on, England for Tuesday against Germany.
No.
Yeah.
Well, now we're gonna get hated here,
Yeah.
but I literally keep seeing memes like, "Oh, it's coming home" and stuff like that.
No.
We're the head of a group, and I'm like, "Yeah, but have you seen who we're in the group with?"
Exactly.
And we always get to like the semis.
Well, we're out of the group
and
now.
then
We're
it was
in the
like we
16.
always get our hopes up, and we'll get to the
yeah.
semis, and then it'll be like.
We never really beat Germany as well. So
Who's in the other groups? Who's winning the other groups? It's the likes of
Italy.
Belgium and Italy,
Spain,
and Spain,
got France.
So by
Yeah,
the
we
time
ain't
we get
getting
to the
past them.
semis, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't, no offense, I don't even know any of the players this year, to be honest.
Oh, they're a mix of old ones and new ones, aren't they? But a lot of them are the new breed. You know what I mean? But
Well,
yeah.
good luck
Well,
to
good
him.
luck to him.
Good luck.
Yeah, let's see. If
Do
we
you know
get
what?
through. Don't
You
think
know,
so,
I'm
but-
probably I'm not the biggest football fan
No,
as
no,
it
no.
is, but it's like one of those. I do try and follow the England when they play.
Yeah.
But honestly, this time it was like,
They haven't had that
oh
much
shit,
support.
is it the Euro on? I didn't, with everything that's going on.
Well, we're supposed to be actually last
it's
year.
kind of,
So it's a year. It missed the year. It's supposed to be 2020s.
it just kind of snuck upon us, didn't it? Really?
Yeah.
So yeah, if we get into the back end games, then
Yeah, then
I'll
we'll talk a
start
bit more.
taking interest.
Yeah. But until then, there's no fucking point, is there?
Talking about UK matters.
Oh yes.
This made me chuckle. UK Health Minister has quit. This today.
The
This
guy
evening.
who said he'd never quit.
Well, he said he'd never quit, but
Yeah.
this has made him quit because obviously he was breaking COVID rules by kissing his aide, kissing his assistant.
No.
So he's had to
Dirty little bagger.
hand in his thing. It sounds like someone's had it in for him though for a while.
Yeah.
There was obviously the whole kind of thing about, the care
Prime Minister
homes,
didn't like him and
the
stuff
Prime
as
Minister
well.
didn't like him,
called him a buffoon
and getting his getting his PPE in and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
There's been things that people have put pressure on for him, but this is what I say. I think one thing that we can say is that at least our politicians are accountable.
Yes.
Yeah. And when shit
to a degree,
but when shit does happen, they can kind of be removed from
they can
post.
fall off the line. Yeah, but the funny thing is though, he's resigned, but I guarantee within a year he's got another job within the Parliament.
I'm sure he will.
Guarantee it.
But like the thing is, it's like, there's a lot gone on over the last couple of 2 years, right? Now, a normal health minister probably wouldn't have ever have to deal with this type of thing. I'm not sticking up for him. I'm sure he has made mistakes. He's been caught out in this respect, but I'm sure he's made a lot of decisions. Well, some of them he thought were brilliant, some of them not so brilliant, right?
Yeah. But he lied when he first started
No, the
talking
thing that
about
makes
this.
me laugh is that it was the rules that were put in place by him that say,
you can't touch him.
There was there was a rule that came out that basically said if you're not living with your partner, then you can't physically have contact with them, touch them, which effectively made Nukke against the law, right?
Yeah, in a way it did.
But meanwhile, he's breaking that very rule with his aide. Now, the question is, right, apparently this woman was a friend from university.
Yeah, that's what he come out with.
So, is it a case of that she just got the job because she was, a friend of,
Which laws were brought back in a couple of years ago when they found out like a lot of MPs had families and friends working for him and like hardly doing anything.
But
then they changed the regulation.
For a bit of slap and tickle in the office. And I mean, I don't want to cast aspersions about the woman. I don't know her and I don't know her background yet.
But there was definitely something going on there.
But it seems a bit suspect when you've got a woman who has been like a friend from university who's probably, been friends with Matt right up until the point where he's been put in this position and he's been able to give her a job or get her in an interview situation where she's got the job. And I don't know how long this relationship's been going on, but you obviously, could it have been going on pre-existing her getting the job, or a reason why she's got the job in the first place?
Well,
right?
That's up to his wife to...
Again, that's the thing, isn't it? The problem with these sort of public figures is they insist on doing these fucking things that... they're going to get found out about eventually.
Yeah, and it's not them that they're going to wreck their lives, it's the families.
That's it, but they'll still wreck their families' lives. This is what I'm saying. It's like you've got everything you wanted, man. You're like in a high power position. You've got a nice car, nice wife, nice house.
Kick into the
couple of kids. Yeah, what more do you want? Oh, no, I want my assistant as well. Right, and then it's ruined life. It ruins lives, right? Anyway,
it does.
I could get on.
Yeah, we won't.
But the thing is, it's like after the man said, "I won't quit, I won't quit, I won't quit," he's quit.
He's a quitter, and damn right as well. But like I said, he's not going to stew for that long.
I think it's a double standard. One thing I will say is, why was the camera set up in his office?
Yeah.
Now it does make me think somebody had it in for him. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of what you think.
Watch out, Boris.
I do believe that there's kind of like some espionage type shit going on. And obviously it does look like somebody had it in for him.
Yeah, it's a scoop. It's papers. Some private investigators gone in there and gone, well, I'll throw that in there. Hey, yeah, but the thing is...
he did go in for some grab-ass action, though, in that video.
He fucking did, yeah. I'll give it him. He's got taste as well. She looks all right from behind there. But, the video's come out now, and it's like...
You sexist pig.
Hey, I'm just saying, she looked nice. He's a bit of a dog, you know what I mean? So, what's she doing with him? I don't know. I think it must have been because of the job. But, I'm not going to say good luck to him or anything like that, because he's going to land on his feet. No fucking doubt. No doubt in my shadow of mind that he'll be working again.
Well, the PM has said that, the matter's closed.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, what the fuck? Yeah, but Boris has been, He's been a dirty dog over the years, and like
Wow.
yeah. Now he's had a kid. You know what I mean?
He got secretly married recently as well, Boris, didn't he?
He did.
Congratulations, Boris, for your secret wedding.
Yeah, man, and you knew Baba as well.
You're
Brooks.
punching above your weight.
Fucking damn, he always does.
Totally. Right, yeah. So, anything else you've seen before we move on to NASA news?
Yes, actually, China has released has basically found a new archaeological skull, which
there you go. See, faking evidence, an archaeological skull that proves that the dinosaurs roamed with man and what?
No, a new humanoid, which is funny enough called the Dragon Man, which was
lizard people.
Yeah. Which was found in 1933.
There you go. You see, it's already coming out. The propaganda.
Yeah.
Try and make you, but what? We were dragon men at first. What's this?
Yeah. Well, they've named him Dragon Man, but this is a new species of man, basically.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. And why did it take him so long?
So
1933.
So a missing link type thing. So what? It was discovered in 1933, and they're only just telling us.
Yeah.
Well, here's something
what
else.
The fuck?
Here's something else you might not have known.
Oh, go for it.
Well, National Geographic have just announced that the world, get this, has an extra ocean.
Oh, mint.
Just lying about. They forgot about it. Again, it was like, it's amazing the things you find, isn't it?
Isn't it?
When you're not looking.
It's just not there, and then all of a sudden, poof, it's there. Oh, what's going on?
Well, this is the thing, because they're calling it the Southern Ocean.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and it's like,
So there's new rules and regulations coming into this, I reckon.
Well, it's the 7 continents, 4 oceans, isn't it? That's what every school kid's been taught.
That's true.
Ever since the world's been a globe.
Yeah.
Right, And, well, no, now they've got to kind of revamp that, because there's an extra ocean. We've got an actual 5th ocean, which is the Southern Ocean. And it's the water that is around Antarctica.
Ah, see, yeah.
So it's the body of water that surrounds Antarctica. I think you may
fresh
laugh,
water.
actually. It's amazing what happens when a bit of ice melts in, isn't it?
It is.
But they're saying it's considered now to be an ocean. And that's pretty fucking cool. I
think. Yeah. It was bound to come.
What?
It was bound to come, because of the amount of countries that want to get to that fresh water and the valuable stuff that's going to be around them places.
Well, it's the southernmost stretch of the Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Oceans. Has always been an interesting sort of convergence of sort of oceans coming together.
Yeah.
But now they're saying that it's considered, with its own sort of current and flow. That it's considered an ocean. So now it's the Southern Ocean.
Yeah, and we got 5 now.
So when you see that question pop up on a quiz show,
you know now, not 4, 5.
So there you go.
Yeah.
But it's amazing, isn't it? When you just kind of, they drop these bombs on you, like Pluto's not a planet anymore, like something that you knew was kind of fact for years, but then it does make you think. Well, if that's wrong, what else was taught that was a bit kind of skewed? Apparently,
it works out that 7% of what you learn within a year, the rest of it you will be actually wrong by the next year.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like, what? And it's
not
like,
everything.
What they're saying is, because things are changing so much now. You know what I mean? It's like we're finding new things, we're finding new species, we're losing new species or old species every day, and stuff like that. So it can be a dramatic turn of information, and I think that's where we've got more of issues, I suppose, in the schooling and that at the moment, with like it's so dramatically turned. I mean, how many times this year alone we've turned around and gone, science has found this, it's going to have to be put on its head and started all over again, or new methods on finding this, that and the other. So it is a changing, but I think it changes just far too much at the moment, you know what I mean? But communication, the communication has never been so open, so everyone's trying to get their information out and stuff, and some of it's right, some of it's wrong. No,
Yeah,
it's just one of them things.
Yeah. Did you see the strawberry moon the other night?
No.
Oh yeah, it was a big red moon.
Big strawberry.
Big red moon.
Ah.
We get when the moon goes like red.
Yeah,
moon
red blood moon.
Yeah, you get the blood moon. Well,
Yeah.
they called it the strawberry moon because it was more of a pinky reddy hue.
Ooh,
this
that's
time.
nice.
Oh,
That's
nice.
a nice little sight, that.
It was. Yeah, did you not see it
No,
a couple of
did you
nights
see
ago? Yeah, of course I did.
No, I saw the an orange one about a week or two ago, and then I was looking into the eclipse over in America and South America.
Oh, yeah. There was an eclipse, wasn't there?
Yeah, and that was
recently?
like for hours. And it was like mad hours.
Did you see this story going into the NASA news? It is a bit of a NASA story, but it's a COVID story as well. Scientists have invented a spray that fights COVID-19 that NASA is using. So this is a scientist from Cheshire.
Oh, Cheshire.
Cheshire. She's developed a breakthrough spray to fight COVID-19, and the spray is now being used by the likes of NASA.
Right, okay.
So, do you reckon it's just more like an antibacterial?
Yeah, I think it's a method on now they're going to get into the system, I think.
No, I think that is better, to be honest. I mean, rather than using, like, I think not every... I'd prefer, like if you were getting, the jab was like, I'll pop this tablet and you'll be all right.
Yeah.
That'd be a bit better because, people don't like getting injections, do they? But, I mean, I'm not sure if this is what they've got at, but this scientist has invented a spray that fights COVID-19. NASA have took it on. It was developed by her partner in a partner's restaurant.
Right, so she ain't even...
no, it's just developed it. Scientists who kind of came up with it herself. She's 26 years old, from Little Sutton.
Good on her if she has done it.
It basically attaches and kills the
virus,
the pathogen on any surface, and that it's applied to for up to 14 days. So it's basically like a disinfectant spray.
Yeah, it's a good long disinfectant instead of like the day. It sounds like a long one. Yeah, it's
so good. It's been called a breakthrough, and it's been such a success. She's got orders over £10 million for it. So there you go, success story. Somebody who's really just created something in a kitchen.
Yeah. Anyone
it's
can
total
do it.
Success story. She's a PhD student. She obviously has an idea what she's doing. She's not like she's some fucking mad scientist in a kitchen just cooking up chemicals.
Well,
but
you know what? Actually, the last couple of days, you know what I've been thinking?
What?
I've been thinking about
making an energy drink or something.
No, making something that, that's different but new. Like a new kind of food, or like I'll add this to it, or I'll mix that with it.
It's like how
what happens.
I'm not saying that everything's been tried, but it's very difficult to come up with an adaptation on a product that's
but it depends
already
on
existing. Because this is the thing as well. If you're an inventor, a bit of a sidestep, but if you're an inventor, right, what components are you using to make your invention? Because every component has a patent of its own. Yeah. So you need that capacitor or that switch. Then you're using other people's inventions to build your invention, which obviously is kind of...
Yeah, but that's when you go into business and go, well, I want to buy a couple of these off you. I want to buy a couple of them off you. And they go,
that's what I'm saying. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, it creates industry.
It's not as easy as it sounds, because of obviously you've got a kind of... You can never build anything from scratch that's truly original, or not as much totally fabricated for your design.
Yeah. And people have gone out.
People do that, and don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's a bit more difficult. So anyway, besides
if you've got a good idea, try it.
Really
and try
good
and sell
that
it
she's used her expertise and a PhD and made something that's actually been really successful.
Yeah.
Well done.
While she's been sat for 18 months in her living room, she's actually gone and put her head to work, and she's brought something that may work great for us.
Have you got some NASA news for us?
I have. Oh, yes, I have. Right, there's a report that China has copied SpaceX's super heavy spaceship.
Well, this is what we're talking about. Copyright patents and
it looks the spec of it, all the specs and stuff on it. It looks exactly the same, but they did change it. Not that long
changed
ago.
The stickers.
No, there was actually another kind of ship that they were going to do, but then they decided, no, we're going to make this, and it looks the spit basically of SpaceX's shuttle, and they're going to send theirs up in 2022.
That's
so another theft again.
Seriously, so do you think that they've actually stole the plans for it?
Yeah, all the plans are exactly... There's only little minor touches to it. It is exactly the same as...
Oh, no way.
And it's like...
That is pretty cheeky.
Yeah, but CCP have always been doing that. I mean, look, minis, anything you can make, go to China, you can...
Yeah, you
forget
can totally
the copyright.
Well, that's it. It doesn't exist. If this is the thing, it's like you can make up a law in the UK or America or Canada or Australia, wherever. Yeah, but it only applies to your province.
Country, really, yeah.
It's like you go out of the like they don't care about your copyright laws.
No, what copyright laws? No.
As soon as it's in the domain, the public domain, it's like
it's mine.
They just rip it off.
It's taxed. I've got it, mine.
So, you were talking earlier about the Mars lander, weren't you?
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Do you want to fill us in?
The insignia on Mars, the new rover. Insight, sorry, yeah.
Insignia. It's like you're driving a Vauxhall.
I sort of said that was it last week or the week before as well? I don't know what's with my mind. Well, they reckon that it will be dead by April if it doesn't have a significant amount of energy boost into its system.
Well, how's that going to happen? There's nobody jump leads up there, is there?
Oh, no, we'll send a spaceman. He'll wipe it off.
So, no, come on, legit. How are they going to... I mean, it was 800 million to send up.
Yeah.
They can't just let it die off
solar panels
quickly.
Again. To be honest, it's solar panels, and it's possibly where it's landed as well and where it's moved. For some reason...
Insight's not the new one, is it?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah,
It is, isn't it? So, I mean...
And it's just run out of major power because there must have been a dust storm or something going on because all of the solar panels are basically full of shit. So
yeah, but this did happen.
They cleaned it up, yeah.
This is funny actually because like the last time something like this happened, I think it was Curiosity. And it just stopped, didn't it?
Yes.
And it was kind of, they said exactly the same thing. It was dead. The solar panels had been kind of caked in dust. They couldn't fix it.
And then they did
and then all of a sudden, well, no, they did. There's actually a theory that suggests that somebody went over and cleaned it, right?
Yeah, of course they did.
It was literally spotless, the next images, and it came boost back to life. Everything was cool. And it was like, has somebody just been over with a squeegee? And just cleaned it because it just looked perfectly clean.
Yeah.
This could be the same thing. Who knows? We'll have to see. I mean, I'd hope it does survive because, I mean, obviously it'd get a lot of information.
Yeah.
The plan
and it's got the chopper as well.
Pretty good so far.
Yeah. Oh,
I'd hate
for
it to get cut short.
Yeah.
Now, one that has... is we talked about this last week. The Hubble Space Telescope.
Yeah,
there was an error.
Oh yeah, big error.
Now they said they were going to try and reboot it and get it all back online. But they've failed. It failed to fix. NASA's failed to fix the Hubble Space Telescope error.
Oh no, man!
They've got no plan, no idea when it'll come back online. So
they're going to have to throw a shuttle up there or something and do a bit of
get
maintenance.
A slingshot. Just fire a BB gun at it.
Yeah,
shotgun. Pow.
Yeah,
so that should work. But yeah, I mean, it's been stuck in safe mode, and they don't really know what they're going to do.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to send the spacecraft up there. To be honest, I think that's the only really way. That's Elon Musk.
It's been down for nearly 2 weeks. It cost $4.7 billion. It just stopped on the 13th of June when the main computer stopped receiving the keep alive signal, which is basically standard handshake. Between them and the NASA signal. And obviously the connection that they establish is able to kind of send data payloads between the spacecraft and the main computer.
Yeah.
So it's been going, it was made in 1980.
Yeah.
Right. So it's been going a while.
Yeah, it's been going a long while, yeah.
It's a shame again, though. I mean, but this is a test. This is what I'm saying. This one's been up since God knows when.
Yeah.
And it's been working perfectly fine for all these years.
Yeah,
probably
totally.
longer than their expectations.
Yeah, they're like the Voyagers, man. They just gone
keep on
beyond.
going, don't they?
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see that the stuff they've literally just sent up last year is already running out of juice and,
That's true.
failing.
But then again, Europe and America have got two that are going up there pretty soon, actually, which will be able to see better pictures and stuff. And they're even looking at putting one up there in a couple of years' time, where it could actually see our next solar system near us. Nearest solar system.
Yeah, but this is what I was saying about observable universe, because of observable space, because it's like, up until we can see it, then we assume that that's the edge.
Totally,
that's as far as we can see. That's it.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, they don't know when or if they're going to get this problem fixed and bring Hubble Space Telescope back online and normal functionality.
Oh, they do. It does beautiful pictures, man, and it gives us a lot of information.
Well, a spokesman for NASA said that there's no definitive timeline on bringing the computers back online, but the space agency has multiple options when it comes to working on finding a solution. So they said they should get it all done as soon as possible.
This time next year, I think it'll be up and going again. I hope so anyway, because we need all them images.
Yeah. So it's at low Earth orbit at 340 miles.
Nice distance.
Yeah.
Very nice distance.
Well, anything else you've seen?
I've seen there's a new study coming out stating that they reckon dark energy is slowing the galaxy down for some reason.
Do you reckon? Well,
I think there's a lot to do.
We talked about that as well, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago, where it was like a new study has shown it's everywhere. And they were expecting to just see it in patches, pockets, or but they found dark matter's supposed to be everywhere throughout the galaxy. So
and they reckon there's a massive patch of it that's going through.
Is that not just quite logical to think that obviously if there's nothing in space to kind of there's a force there that's pulling, as we're expanding, it's slowing us down because it. So does that suggest that was present before before the Big Bang?
No, not before the Big Bang.
Well, no. Think about it this way, right? Yeah. So you have the Big Bang, right? And everything. There's a force that expels everything out, and we are rapidly expanding still.
Yeah.
Due to that force.
Yeah, getting faster actually.
So exactly right. So if that force it'd only impact us enough to slow us down if it was already there, present before the ripple hit it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that expansion would need to come into sort of contact with the dark matter in order to slow it down, in order to impact its speed in expanding.
Possible.
And so dark matter, it would have been there pre-existing to the Big Bang.
Yeah, because they reckon actually the centre of the galaxy now is a dark matter patch. It's not a black hole.
Well, I think potentially then dark matter is remnants of a previous universe that exploded, creating the new universe.
Yeah, that's a theory.
There you go.
Yeah.
You can have that one. Take it to the bank.
Yeah. And it will bounce.
My check will bounce.
It will bounce upside down.
We'll stick Patreon. Go to Patreon and you can help us make our checks clear.
Oh, yeah.
And we can eat for another week.
We can indeed.
So that's it for NASA News this week, is it? I take it.
I believe
it has been an interesting week. I'm sure you'll agree.
It'll be an interesting one next one as well.
God, yeah. Well, hope you've enjoyed the show. If you've got any comments, queries, or suggestions, you know what to do. You can come over and have a chat with us.
Yeah.
We're lovely.
We are.
I'm sure really you've noticed.
Especially me.
He's not. He's an horrible bastard. Traitor. Joking.
Ask Jay.
Going over to other podcasts. I'm only joking.
Well, I've got to span my wings.
So, yeah. I made you what you are. No,
I'll let you be my manager.
So... No, I won't get you any gigs.
Sack you then.
If you want to get in touch, you know what to do. You can email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com. If you want to get involved in what's fucked up where you're from, you know what to do there. You tell us what's going on in your area, and we could be featuring you on the show.
Yeah.
You're getting slightly annoying. I'm only messing. He keeps chirping in with it. We do. Sounds like Gruber.
I think I sound better.
Shouts Gruber.
Gruber.
Yeah. So.
And Codders. Good evening, Codders.
You're throwing me off now. Stop it. So yeah, if you want to get involved, you know what to do. Send us an email. We're available on all podcast platforms from iTunes, Spotify, even YouTube. So, or you could go down to the website, which has got everything from videos to downloadable content and blogs. That's it. That's the end of the show.
It is.
We'll get back to you. We'll see you next week. See, you've thrown me off my flow now, and I don't know what I'm saying. If you got to the end of the episode, fucking champion. Well done, you.
Well done, you. I'll give you a clap.
We'll see you next time. Peace.
Out.